My name is Christopher Stillar. I'm just your average, ordinary guy. I've been married to my high school sweetheart for over 20 years, and I'm the father of 4 children. I live a typical life, ordinary in every way. Oh yeah, did I mention? I hear and see dead people. I'm a spiritual medium, and this is my story. In the mid-90s, a traumatic and serious health crisis, combined with the death of my beloved grandmother, changed my life in ways I could never have predicted. Now it is I who is changing lives. Real people in real pain, dealing with unimaginable grief, getting the chance to connect one more time with those they loved and lost. Changing people's lives and healing their souls with the help of their loved ones in spirit is my daily work, it's my passion, and my life's purpose. Welcome to my world, and welcome to Seeking Spirit.
My name's Lorrie, and I've heard about Chris from a friend of mine who had been down for a reading, and she came home with all kinds of answers, and then listened to her recording afterwards and put some more of it together. So I was hoping to hear today from my mother, father, and sister that had passed, and possibly a really good friend of mine that had passed away. So those were the 4 people that I was hoping to hear from, and I don't have any expectations. It would just be nice to hear from them.
So, what I need to say is, prior to your arrival to the office today for your session, there was male energy coming around, and all I can tell you is I have 2 different male energies at this point in time, different generations in the way that they connect or come through. There's just, and there could be more, to be honest with you, okay? I need to tell you that I have an older male that would be like a father figure, a dad that's coming in 1 generation above. Then I have what is below him, like a younger male, okay? So I feel like I've got 2 of them coming through. There's a couple things that I want to make reference to or say. Not included in my totals of what I've just said about the males. Are you aware of miscarriaging? Losing the baby? Because before you got here, they were showing me a boy. I don't know if you even know the gender, but they were showing me a little boy in spirit, which is not part of the 2 that I've just acknowledged, okay? So technically that would mean I have 3 males. But I'm not excluding the child, but there was a reference that it would be important for you to know that the baby's okay. And even though it wasn't one of those situations where the child was born and then later passed, it just felt like it didn't go full semesters, trimesters with it, and then the passing came early. What I need to say now is, and this is where it depends on who's saying what. I don't know if, how do I want to say this? Before you got here, the older male was making me feel like I have to talk about definitely a health-related passing for him, where I feel like I have to talk. I don't know if I'd say cancer or there's an issue that's affecting organs that way, but it felt like a diseased feeling. But I'm curious about one thing. He didn't specify the type of cancer or illness. What came up was, were you aware or did you see something with his skin as being problematic? Because that's not a common thing for me to say. And he didn't take me to lung or liver or anything like that. He just made me feel like there was very noticeable aspects about his skin. And whether that's breaking down, whether that's the cancer, I felt like it could be alarming for people to see and somewhat horrific at times. But you need to know he's okay. And that was his opening comment to me. So do you understand so far what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay. Can we drop down and go to what I would call the younger male, but not the miscarriage or failed pregnancy? What I want to tell you is there's a sense of accountability or responsibility that he's taking on that makes me feel like how he dies or the manner of his death, he either attributed to or his actions caused, okay? So, you need to know, again, he's okay. He's not wallowing or he's not in a bad place emotionally or mentally. It's not like that. It's just his way of introducing, like much how the older male or the father figure talked about disease, health, and then specifically the skin. This male is not specifying exactly how he dies yet, But what is there is that there's something his actions caused or brought forth the way he died. So it's, to me, it's an important thing because I feel like his death is quicker or a fast aspect to it, unlike what would be Dad's or the father figures. But also that I feel like it's not anybody else's fault or responsibility is the way that he's saying this. So do you understand?
I do.
Are you hoping for either of these people or
Both.
both?
Yeah.
You're, good. Let's.
Yeah.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
Would you know why visually they would just show me ties to a location or place by the water? Because I literally feel like I'm seeing either a house or cottage or something, and I feel like I'm by the water, and it just seems to be a significant enough aspect that, I actually think I'm seeing you at this place or being there, but it would be after a passing. So it's like the male's not there with you, but he's indicating being there with you, only you may not be even aware of it. But he just keeps placing you visually. And I never really explain, but I'll see things in a visual way, I'll hear things in an audible way, and then I'll feel and sense things. And this seems to be a visual that they're presenting with you by the water. But I don't know if it's a home, cottage, or a friend's place, but it just feels like the male to your side's acknowledging being there with you or by you when you've been there, but it's following his passing. Okay?
Yeah.
There's a birthday coming up too, and we're not far off from it because they're just acknowledging birthday, happy birthday. So I don't know if it's yours or not, but they're just bringing it up. Whose birthday is it?
Mine.
And how far off are we?
Tomorrow.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow. Just know.
Yeah.
You know how many people sit here and want to hear a happy birthday thing
Yeah.
and they never get acknowledged?
That's awesome.
All I can tell you is that they're making me feel like the birthday's coming up. It didn't feel long, and to say happy birthday. So know that tomorrow when you're celebrating, both of these males will be there with you and for you. Mom's living? Okay, bear with me. Is there a mom alive then, or a mother figure alive? Because what they're showing me is difficulties. So I have to talk about older female, living, one generation above you. That's going to be like the mother figure. I know it's not your mom because you've already established she's passed. I'm not feeling her yet. I just want to be clear. I need to talk about a woman that's alive, and I'm seeing that there's, I don't know why they want me to say this, other than you might be aware of it already, but I feel like difficulties for this female, and I feel like in her life is the way I'm talking. So I don't know if it's a combination of health plus living aspects that would be coming up around her. Do you understand, possibly,
Yeah.
living female?
Yeah.
You would have to have some kind of connection to her, like involvement-wise, for them to bring it up.
Yeah.
Okay. So are you aware there's already been issues?
Yes.
Okay, so they're not springing it on you,
No.
or they're not shocking you with this. I just feel like there's more coming, unfortunately, of involvement having to deal with. Well, it's the wording that's stumping me, and I want to say that I don't think you're reckless with money, so I have to preface it by this. Why do I want to use the phrase coming from him? And he's standing right here between the two of us, the younger of the two. Why do I want to use the phrase, and he says, and laughs, you don't give a shit about money. And so that didn't mean to me that you're reckless or silly or irresponsible with in any way, because he's very clear about that. But he says that phrase, you don't give a shit about money. Okay. So it's just your nature.
Yep.
Okay.
It doesn't come first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great way to live.
Yeah.
I just don't know why he would have blurted that out, but I'm not going to judge him. That's what he's saying about you as part of your personality. Do you know why he would make me feel like he was either late for something or somebody didn't know where he was?
Yeah.
Because there's a late aspect to this that
Yeah.
he's saying, and at that point he's gone.
Yeah.
At that point he's gone, but people wouldn't have known.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's just giving me goosebumps. It's at that point he's like pulled back to the family, pulled back to where the love brings them. And the bonds just got stronger for him. But he talks about that time period. I don't know if it's a couple hours or what, where it's like he didn't show up or he's not here or whatever this is, and people don't know.
Yep.
But he's already there in spirit with them. So at this point in time, I just want to ask you, is there someone you would be hoping to hear from that you haven't heard from? And if so, just their first name only.
Ellen.
Ellen?
Ellen. Yeah.
Okay. Well, the first thing that I want to say, there's something, this is very generic, don't even respond because you can't. There's something about outdoor flowers. I don't have a clue why, but visually, but it sounds very general to me when you say Ellen. It's an older woman of some degree, and maybe she loved her flowers. But she doesn't even elaborate on that. I feel like she's walking by outdoor flowers. I just know there's a significance about that. The thing that I want to ask you, the thing that, whether it makes sense to you or not, do you know why she would talk about the timing of her passing being close to another date or significant date? So it feels like a short period of time before, like when she passed, to what would either be the birthday or the holiday or the date of significance, because she's talking about the time frame of when she passed versus the important date. And to me, her passing obviously shadowed this, like put a damper on this.
Yeah, okay, yes.
You understand
yes,
that?
I do.
You're not making it fit,
No.
you understand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the flower thing was really incidental to me, but visually that's what she just, when she walked into the room, I'm outside a house and I'm seeing these, I'm not a flower person, but I will say beautiful plants and flowers. So it seemed incidental, but that's what she showed. But the kicker for me was her information about the timing of her death and the overshadowing of another date that, you know, she could not control, but being aware of this. So that makes sense to you?
Yes.
And that would be for Ellen?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm hoping she came in, because when I felt her energy move in, I believed it to be her. And did she have I guess it would technically be a 911 call, because to me, the way the transportation issue to the hospital. So do you understand that?
Yes. Yep.
I don't know if it's she knew or you knew, but it's got to be one of those final ride things. I don't feel like she's deceased. Does that make sense to you? When she's transported to the hospital,
no,
do you
she
believe
wasn't.
she's alive still?
Yeah.
Somewhat, but
Yeah.
I know I'm not deceased and the body's being taken away.
Yeah.
But there's this knowing she talks about, like she's not coming home again. And she's not trying to get all sentimental or emotional on you, but it's like she was very aware of like that being, I guess, I don't want to say the final ride, but that type of thing.
Yeah.
And, but did you understand that too?
Yes.
Because she talks about the knowing of this. And yet, when I said, I guess it's a 911 thing, but it doesn't have the
Urgency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, where you might find somebody and try to resuscitate them and call 911 and the panic in that.
Yeah.
It's got a sad thing to it. I do feel like there's transportation of that degree to the hospital or wherever this is, but I just didn't feel rushed or panicked.
Yeah.
And we knew. And I'm curious, was something buggered up with her eye? Was there something about one eye?
That it could be me, not her.
Seriously?
Yep.
Like one eye?
Mm-hmm.
Something's buggered up with the vision,
Mhm.
or? Because she's specific about one eye and a buggered up
Mm-hmm.
aspect. And you believe you, not her. Okay. I know she's saying that and making reference to that, so. It's going to sound crazy weird. It's already happened. It's already come to pass. What would be the... My phrasing that I'm hearing is really what's throwing me off. I feel like there's something about a relationship that's ended or done for whatever reason, over, is the way I would say it. I don't know the technical reasons. The thing that's throwing me, the sense of you being okay about it, or okay with it. It just sounds to me crazy to say that to you, but that's how she's indicating it.
Yep.
So you understand that?
I do.
And the fact that you're okay with it.
Yep.
Obviously, she's happy about this, that you're okay with it. She has no judgmental aspects about, like she hasn't taken me to the how, the why, or how it ended, or any of that. There's just no judgment there. The thing she chooses to focus on is that you're happy about it, or you're okay with it. There's that sense of balance about it. And that brings her a lot of happiness, that you're able to feel that way about it. And I think you don't put a lot of false, not expectations. Some people can have a lot of, not even guilt. People can say, like, I should have done it sooner, or things should have ended sooner, or whatever it is. I have no clue. I don't feel like you waste a lot of time about that. It is what it is. And she's just really pleased with where your head's at, your heart's at about this. Would this have happened after she passed?
Yes.
Okay, so then this is why she's trying to acknowledge it for you. Like her awareness, and more importantly, your head space and your heart space, where you're at. I think I would call you practical. That's the feeling she's giving me, like you, I think for the most part you're accepting of what is. And it's like, you know what, it's not really what I would have picked, but it's what my reality is. Now what am I going to do about it? What am I going to make the best of it? I don't feel like you're one to sulk or do a pity party a whole lot at all. So it's like, pick yourself up and move on. I don't know how horrible it was, if it was at all. I just know that where your head's at, she's very thrilled and wanting to acknowledge her awareness and being connected and around you for that. They just made me feel like I got to talk about something that would be a trip aspect, and then I hear the phrase, well, what the hell? What the hell? You're not silly with money. Money's not a big deal to you. You need it to live. So I don't know if that flies against what was previously stated about you, but they've just brought up something that I would see about a trip issue, and then it's like the phrase is, well, what the hell? You understand that?
I do.
Is this still to come?
Yes.
Okay. So just know that they're aware of this, and happy for you. Truly happy. Was your mom funny or a jokester?
Oh, yeah.
Seriously?
Yes.
She's not a prude. She's not old-fashioned. But I got to tell you, there's something she's joking about that's going to make her sound prudish or old-fashioned, but it's strictly a joke.
Okay.
She can't believe you're showing your knees on TV.
That doesn't surprise me. Nope.
So for her making that
Yep.
and laughing,
Yep.
okay. I just know that she's not a prude, and I don't feel like she's old-fashioned or old beliefs that way. But she is joking about you showing your knees on
Yep.
TV and finding humor with that. You presently working?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure my wording on this. There's something that's already happened with the work thing. The only thing I can say is, because I still felt like you're working, that's why I said presently working. And I don't know if it's, I don't want to make it sound horrible or bad. I almost feel like you didn't care about something. And it's like, not that that's your work ethic, but I felt like something had transpired that I really feel like, I'm going to swear again, but it's almost like, well, I don't give a hell, or I don't give a crap about it, but I feel like that's already happened, but I still feel like you're still there.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
I do want to say, I can't say how bad or how hard that was or anything like that. I see something straightening out or getting better is the way that she's indicating this, and she's happy for you for sticking it out. I can't say that this was horrendous, whatever it is. Like, to me, it wasn't a deal breaker, but it's like, oh, here we go again.
Yeah, process.
Okay. and so just know that she's acknowledging this unfolding for you with the work aspect. You have a neighbor that kind of drives you a little crazy too. There's something that's an irritant factor, and I'm not going to be able to specify for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But she's laughing about this
Okay.
because I feel like, I don't know if the person's crazy. That sounds horrible. And I don't mean mentally deranged. I mean just the way we would say tongue-in-cheek.
Yeah.
Crazy. Harmless. Harmless. That's why we can joke about it. But there's an irritant factor there. And you're not like that with all of them. So
Yeah.
she just wants you to know that she's actually in your home and in your life that much. She keeps saying that so that, I'm assuming I'm talking about a living room window. Is there new curtains?
Mm-hmm.
Because she's just acknowledging this. Like specifically to the living room.
Yep.
Because she's like, I like them.
Oh, it's good.
Take a minute just to take that in though.
Yeah,
Out of all the
I
things she
know.
could talk about,
Yeah.
a crazy neighbor and lovely new window covering,
Yeah.
specifically to the living room. What kind of communicator is she? And the fact that she is striving to reinforce what you already know to be true, that she's still with you and around you.
It was amazing. It was. And my heart was pounding when I first sat down, but then it just, as the information started to come through, it was just reassuring. My mom passed away about 5 years ago, and she passed away from a cancer. And she lived with me for the last 2 years that she was sick, and eventually we got her back home, and my 2 sons helped look after her at the house too. Yeah. My father, he was obviously the older male. He had lung cancer, so he made reference to the cancer in the chest. The younger male was a friend of mine, and he passed suddenly from a heart attack. We'd been friends for a very long time, and then I hadn't seen him for 7 or 8 years, and then I ran into him. So for 3 months, he was back in my life, and then he died suddenly. Yeah, so, and he was, the lateness thing, he was supposed to meet me for lunch the next day, and he didn't come, so I phoned his work, and that's how I found out.
Oh, wow.
And the mean words that he was joking about was, it was kind of at a gentleman that I was dating at the time. He's quite a bit older than me, so he was calling one old fart. It's like, you go see that old man and then meet me for lunch tomorrow. And the other person that was coming through is my sister, Ellen, and she passed away 10 years ago now. And her and I were very close, and he made reference to the flowers. We were both gardeners. We're both gardeners. And I'd come home from work, and she'd have left like a bag of flowers sitting on my doorstep that she'd cleaned out her gardens and thought that I would want. So when he made reference to the flowers, that was right. I mean, that was her and I. We're gardeners. So was my mother. So the lake, because to this day, when I'm upset or an anniversary of a death or something comes by, I tend to end up going to water, and that's where I find the peace there. And I actually will take a coffee when I go to my mom and dad's old house that my son owns now, and I will go sit down by the lake on the dock and have a coffee, like really early in the morning, and I'll just sit there, and because it's their home, this is where my dad actually was raised, so it's kind of cool just to go and sit and have a coffee.